I love horde shooters. Don't get me wrong, I like my fair share of CSGO, Rainbow Six or Overwatch. But ever since Payday 2, man, something changed. I've realized that there's more to gaming than toxicity and getting called the N-word. So I got into co-op games. Like, I don't know, Deep Rock Galactic. Oh, what was that? You don't know what DRG is? Deep Rock Galactic is a co-op, alcohol-inducing, pest-controlling, short-king experience with 4 chats and all of unique tools to make the life in Hoxie's 4 a bit easier. Depending on your species. You and your trusty homies go into a hazardous pest-infested planet and shoot bugs. But why do we go there? Minerals. What did you say? You don't have any homies? Yeah, just take this guy with you. Starting a mission can mean exploring a beautiful generated cave with occasionally a few bugs to shoot, or reliving the events of Normandy in 1944. And if that's the case, you wanna bring the right set of tools. There are 4 classes with unique weapons, and most of them see the Geneva Convention as less of a strict rulebook and more of a casual suggestion. Especially Driller and Gunner. For example, Driller doesn't just have a flamethrower, but also a gun that shoots acid. Oh, and guess what he can bring for a secondary? A fucking microwave. You don't just grill the bugs, but you also microwave them. The gunner's weaponry can be summarized rather quickly. He has a minigun and anti-air gun with the widest spread known to man and a homing missile launcher. What the fuck does he need that for? Then there's also Scout and NG. Engineer, for example, has a pump gun, SMG and a smart pistol from Titanfall, or Cyberpunk maybe. As a secondary he has a grenade launcher, this thing and another laser gun. Now Scout, he has an assault rifle. Okay, to be fair, his weapon choice might seem a bit bland at first, but they have a great personality. The rifle has good damage and is precise enough to use at all ranges. And in combination with his secondary, he's a pretty good all-rounder. For instance, his crossbow that can turn liffles into leaf lovers with the right upgrades, or his sawed-off shotgun that sweeps every insect in range into oblivion. But the game would be boring if you just run around and shoot bugs. That's why there's equipment, so that you can fly around and shoot bugs. Scout is the fastest, swiftest, ADHD-fueled infiltrator in the game. With his flare gun he can make the game a bit more playable for the other dwarves by making them able to see shit. And with his grappling hook he can reach every ledge in the cave. Except if there's nitro, he still needs his engines for that. Engineer is a platform gun to help those hyperactive scouts out. It can also be used to build stairs or access better positions. If you are lucky, you might be able to save yourself from an otherwise deadly fall. And his turret is useful to build up in protection to an upcoming wave, or when starting an objective that requires to stay in one place. Gunner is a heavy guy, but his equipment isn't as offensive as you would think. He has a shield that protects him from Twitter after posting his L takes, and a zipline that's just like a real zipline, just without the fun. It's very slow. Driller's equipment is pretty straightforward. First off, he has his drills that he can dig tunnels with to navigate the caves, and C4 to destroy every single thing in his path. Yeah, so that's the team. Well, almost, but there's also a lot of rock and stone in this game. Rock and stone? Yeah, some caves have that, but not all of them. There are 10 unique biomes that you can summarize in cold, hot, sand, radioactive, mushroom, wood, crystal, red, annoying and shit. All of them have a certain uniqueness to them, like different animal types or how there are sandstorms in the sand biomes, and how you can't fucking find nitra in the salt pits. But this wouldn't be a DRG video if I didn't talk about bugs. This game is full of bugs. With a total of this many bugs, you have a broad range of different enemy types. But with the huge arsenal of guns that I've already established, you don't have to worry about any arachnophobia, because there's nothing you can't shoot, burn, melt or fry. The glyphids you will probably come across the most are these small fuckers, big fuckers, really big fuckers and really big fuckers with armor. There are also some flying guys and exploding guys, but there's also a huge amount of other unique bugs, like the loot bug. These little guys roam around the caves and can be found anywhere. When killed they drop nitra and gold, even more kite when they eat some first. And I know what you're thinking, how could anyone hurt these little adorable guys? But believe me, I used to be just like you. You start the game, swearing you will never become someone who's willing to kill them, no matter how short you are on nitro, but after a few months, right after killing a whole lot of them, you will realize what you have become. A hollow, heartless version of your one self. The other creatures you will have to meet for yourself, cause I don't wanna spoil you too much, but there are many more. Overclocks can change the gun stats or even create completely new mechanics that are categorized into 3 different types. Clean overclocks that just give you a buff, balanced overclocks that can be a bit more of a gamble because there's an added debuff, but the buff is probably gonna be better than the ones from the clean overclocks, and unstable overclocks which will completely destroy the concept of the gun. It's like a completely new gun or even a new mechanic. For example, did you ever want a shotgun but that regular old buckshot was just not doing it for you? How about shooting 9 rockets at a time? Yeah, I don't know how I should transition to the next subject because my script just says transition to mods. So did you know this game has mod support? I mostly play with visual or quality of life mods.
Ammo taken.
Ah yes, quality of life. But there's also a huge amount of other mods that completely change the game or some that are just visual, like the Maxwell loot bug, Fancy Steve, or biome bugs. I will put some in the description for you guys if you want some variety. Speaking of variety, there are a lot of cosmetics. Not only is the battle pass free, but if you missed out on stuff you can still get it in other ways. And because there's so many, it's like your own unique character, with a unique backstory that brought him here. Look at my engineer for example. He could be a cyborg with barely any dwarf left in him, or my scout. He looks like a chicken. I called him Nugget, and he's fucking adorable. I think that's all I'm gonna talk about today, but maybe someday we'll talk about this game some more. But this game has so much more content, like promotions, deep dives, assignments and much more, but you will probably want to do some of that exploration yourself. By the way, like the video.
Get in my gut. This and a beer? What more could you ask for?